The night sky has always been a mystery, a canvas of stars that made us wonder if we are alone. But in episode 8 of Alien Earth, that mystery becomes a warning. The shadows above are no longer silent, and the world begins to realize that something far greater and far more dangerous has been watching all along. Episode 8 begins with tension hanging heavy in the air. The calm after the last storm feels uneasy, almost too quiet, as if Earth itself is holding its breath. In the closing moments of episode 7, humanity had discovered strange patterns hidden within the constant hum of satellite signals. At first, scientists believed they were random echoes, simple noise bouncing between planets. But as episode 8 opens, we learn the truth: those signals are not random at all. They are a message that has been playing for decades, unnoticed, waiting for the right moment to be heard. As the scene unfolds, the world's leaders gather in secret rooms, whispering about what this could mean. Fear spreads quickly, because the message is not just sound, it is direction. It points to places on Earth where strange activity has been happening, sudden blackouts and entire cities, magnetic storms that defy science, and the appearance of strange symbols etched deep into the Earth's crust. Scientists try to explain these as natural events, but episode 8 makes it clear they are warnings, left by someone not of this world. The setup grows heavier as we see humanity struggle with trust. Countries accuse each other of hiding alien technology. Military powers begin to move forces in silence, pretending it is just routine training. But the audience knows the truth. Everyone is preparing for something far larger than war. A silent panic spreads through the population. On the surface, life continues as normal people still go to work. Children still laugh in schools. Cities remain full of light, but underneath, the sense of dread is impossible to ignore. Episode 8 also begins to focus on key characters caught in this storm. The lead scientist, who once argued against the existence of aliens, now faces her own disbelief as the signals are decoded in front of her eyes. The military commander, once loyal to protecting Earth from outside threats, now questions whether humanity itself can even stand united long enough to survive. And the journalist, who risks everything to reveal the truth, shows us the price of knowledge when secrets are meant to stay buried. Each character pulls the audience deeper into the chaos, forcing us to ask, who can we trust when the world is split apart by fear? This first act of episode 8 carefully balances mystery and fear. It doesn't rush into action, but instead builds a sense of unease, like a storm forming far away, growing larger every moment. The message from the stars is no longer a question of if aliens existed, is a declaration that they are already here. The true danger, however, is not only in the aliens' arrival, but in how humanity reacts to it. Distrust becomes a weapon sharper than any blade. And episode 8 shows us that Earth may collapse from within before the real threat even shows its face. The world begins to shift under the weight of the decoded message. What was once an abstract signal, an eerie whisper from the stars, now takes shape as a blueprint, a map pointing toward hidden sites across Earth. The revelation is terrifying not because it proves aliens exist, but because it shows they have already been here, leaving markers in places where no human foot should have walked, where no hand should have carved. Episode 8 tightens its grip on the audience as we see teams sent to investigate these locations. In the deserts, explorers uncover colossal stones that hum with energy. In the deep jungles, symbols glow faintly at night as if responding to the stars. And beneath the oceans, sonar reveals structures far older than any human civilization. These are not simple relics. They are warnings or perhaps instructions. As governments struggle to understand the meaning, mistrust blooms like wildfire. Nations that once stood together now accuse one another of concealing pieces of alien technology. Old alliances fracture overnight, each power scrambling to secure control of what little they know. Rumors spread that a hidden human faction has been secretly working with alien forces for years, and the whispers of betrayal hit the highest ranks of leadership. The audience is drawn into the uncertainty. If even the leaders of Earth cannot be trusted, then who is truly in control? Amid this storm of paranoia, Episode 8 delivers one of its most shocking turns: the betrayal of a trusted ally. A character who has stood alongside the protagonists since the beginning, someone loyal and dependable, is revealed to have been feeding information to an unknown source. The betrayal cuts deep, not only for the characters but for the viewers who had placed their trust in this figure. What makes the moment more haunting is the reason they claim they are not working against humanity, but for its survival. Their chilling words echo, "You cannot fight what you do not understand." To resist them blindly is to destroy ourselves. This justification shakes the group, and the audience is left questioning whether the betrayer is a traitor or the only one who sees the truth. Tension escalates further as alien technology begins to awaken across the planet. Power grids flicker uncontrollably, satellites shift from orbit as if pulled by unseen hands, and ordinary machines begin to act in strange, unexplainable ways. It becomes clear that the alien presence is no longer silent. They are testing Earth, probing it, turning our own technology against us. Scientists argue in desperation, warning that this is only the beginning, that the message decoded was not a greeting but a sequence, a countdown. But to what? No one can say that the human response is chaotic. Some leaders push for immediate military action, preparing weapons never before revealed to the public. Others call for peace, insisting that violence will only ensure destruction. Citizens across the globe respond in fear. Some hide, some riot, others fall into a dangerous kind of worship, claiming the aliens as gods return to reclaim their creation. Episode 8 paints a world on the edge of collapse, where the enemy is not yet fully seen. Yet their shadow divides humanity more effectively than any war ever could. At the heart of the story, the main characters struggle with choices that could decide the fate of billions. The scientist pushes for knowledge, urging the world to study, not fight. The commander leans on instinct, preparing for battle, unwilling to risk waiting for an attack. And the journalist, caught between both, seeks only to reveal the truth to the people, no matter how dangerous. Each perspective reflects a piece of the audience's own fear. Should we fight? Should we wait? Or should we learn? There are no clear answers, only risks, and each path seems to lead toward destruction. What makes this rising tension so powerful is its subtlety. Episode 8 does not rush into war or spectacle, it builds dread like a slow-burning fire. The betrayal, the awakening of alien signals, the fractures in human unity, all serve as threads pulling tighter and tighter until it feels like something must snap. And though the aliens remain mostly unseen, their presence dominates every frame. They do not need to appear openly. Their influence is already rewriting Earth, twisting the world we once knew into something unrecognizable. By the end of this section, the stage is set for confrontation. Humanity is splintered, technology is rebelling, and the countdown ticks closer to its unknown end. The rising tension is not just about what the aliens will do, it is about whether humanity will even survive itself long enough to face them. Episode 8 makes us realize that sometimes the greatest threat is not the enemy across the stars, but the fear inside our own hearts, just when the world feels like it can no longer take the pressure. Episode 8 shifts the ground beneath everyone's feet. The decoded signals, the betrayal, the chaos, all of it builds toward a single discovery that changes everything. The aliens are not approaching Earth. They are already here. Hidden in plain sight, the revelation comes not with a grand arrival, but with quiet horror. A research team investigating one of the signal's marked locations deep within an abandoned mining facility uncovers something impossible: human bodies that are not entirely human. Their DNA carries subtle but undeniable traces of alien design, as if a hand from beyond the stars has been weaving itself into our species for centuries. These are not invaders preparing to arrive. They are sleepers already walking among us, unaware of what they truly are until the signal awakened them. The audience feels the floor fall away beneath the characters. The alien threat is not out there, it is within. This discovery spreads like wildfire. The knowledge alone is enough to break what little unity Earth had left. Fear consumes the population. Neighbors begin accusing neighbors, entire communities fracture, and whispers of infiltration turn into violence. The moral dilemma hits hard. If aliens have lived among us all this time, do they deserve to be hunted as enemies or accepted as part of what humanity has become? Episode 8 refuses to offer simple answers. It instead forces us into the same terror the characters face. The leaders of Earth stand at a crossroads. The commander, hardened by a lifetime of battle, demands immediate eradication of any suspected alien hybrids. To him, hesitation is weakness, and survival means drawing the line between us and them. The scientist, torn apart by the evidence, argues that killing them would mean destroying a part of humanity itself. If the aliens have shaped us, then perhaps we are not entirely separate from them at all. The journalist stands caught between these two extremes, watching the chaos erupt, realizing that telling the truth could either free the world or doom it. For the first time, the weight of choice feels heavier than the threat itself. The betrayal from earlier in the episode now takes on new meaning. The ally who had fed information to unknown forces reveals the true reason behind their actions. They had known, or at least suspected, that alien blood ran through human veins. To them, the aliens are not conquerors, but ancestors reclaiming what they began. Their chilling words return. You cannot fight what you are. Suddenly, the betrayal feels less like treason and more like a desperate attempt to prepare humanity for the truth. But whether this is wisdom or madness depends entirely on perspective, and the episode thrives in that uncertainty. Tension boils over when the first of the sleepers awaken fully. Their bodies change in ways that defy explanation. Eyes reflecting strange light, voices resonating with tones beyond human hearing, and movements sharper, faster, as though something inside them has finally stirred awake. Panic grips the world. Are these beings a bridge between humans and aliens, or weapons planted long ago, waiting to be triggered? The line between friend and enemy dissolves. People who were once trusted allies are now feared as possible infiltrators. Episode 8 amplifies the dread by refusing to give a clear face to the alien presence. Instead, it forces us to look inward. The real horror is not some towering ship in the sky. It is the realization that the enemy could be your brother, your partner, or even yourself. This twist transforms the narrative from a story of invasion into something far more chilling, a story of identity. Who are we if our blood carries the mark of something otherworldly? Can humanity survive the truth that it is not purely human? As the turning point deepens, the countdown hidden in the signal continues to tick. Scientists argue desperately that it is leading toward a global event, something that will activate all sleepers at once. If that happens, Earth will no longer belong to humans as we know them. Yet the other side insists this event could be a chance for evolution, a step forward into a future where humanity and alien essence merge into something greater. The choice is unbearable, and the clock keeps ticking. By the end of this section, Episode 8 leaves both the characters and the audience suspended in dread. The threat is no longer distant. It is intimate, personal, and unavoidable. The great turning point is clear. Survival is no longer about defeating an alien force. It is about deciding whether humanity itself is worth preserving or whether we are destined to become something entirely new. The question is no longer can we stop them, but should we stop them at all? The storm finally breaks. All the fear, betrayal, and discovery built throughout Episode 8 explodes in one defining moment. The countdown hidden in the alien signal hits its final mark. Around the world, at the exact same second, the sleepers awaken. Cities, villages, and isolated settlements alike witness the same nightmare. Ordinary people, friends, neighbors, even loved ones suddenly transform as the alien spark inside them takes hold. Their bodies ripple with strange energy, their voices echo in haunting tones, and their eyes burn with a light that seems older than the earth itself. Panic follows instantly. Crowds scatter, soldiers fire into the chaos, and entire city blocks descend into violence as no one knows who to trust. Some sleepers collapse in agony, begging for help as their humanity seems to tear away, while others stand tall and powerful, as if answering to a call no one else can hear. The world fractures in a single night. Episode 8 makes it clear. This is not the beginning of invasion, it is the unveiling of what has already been planted long ago. In the control rooms and bunkers where Earth's leaders hide. Decisions must be made faster than reason allows. The commander, overwhelmed but unshaken, orders a full-scale assault. His belief is simple: if sleepers are alien weapons, then hesitation will cost humanity everything. Armies mobilize, missiles prepare for launch, and silence falls across the planet as the order spreads: destroy before we are destroyed. The scientist, however, fights back with every ounce of her voice, pleading that what they are witnessing is not invasion but transformation. She argues that these sleepers may not be soldiers, but bridges a link to something greater, something Earth cannot yet understand. Her words clash violently with the commander's commands, and for a moment it feels as though humanity will tear itself apart in its own war of ideology. And then comes the moment that freezes time, the first true communication from the aliens. Not through ships or weapons, but through the awakened sleepers themselves. They speak as one, their voices joining in a resonance that shakes buildings and rattles bones. The message is simple yet devastating. We are not your enemy. We are your beginning. The words echo across the globe, broadcast through every sleeper, forcing every human being to hear it whether they want to or not. It is not a threat. It is not a demand. It is a statement of fact, undeniable and impossible to ignore. The aftermath of this message is chaos of a different kind. For some, it is hope, a chance to see humanity not as fragile, but as chosen. For others, it is horror, proof that human identity is nothing more than a shadow of something alien. Riots turn into religious movements, wars break into fragile ceasefires, and families are torn apart by fear of who might be alien and who is not. Trust dies in the open. Unity flickers like a candle in the wind. The main characters stand at the heart of this storm. The scientist feels both vindicated and terrified, realizing her worst fears and greatest hopes have collided in the same breath. The commander is left shaken, his certainty broken, as the idea of war suddenly feels both justified and meaningless. And the journalist, surrounded by chaos, faces the hardest choice of all. Do they spread the full truth to the world, or hold it back in hopes of protecting what little peace remains? Each one represents a different path for humanity, and episode 8 refuses to tell us which path is right. The climax reaches its final note with a haunting silence. After the sleeper's message, the countdown ends and then stops. No explosions, no alien fleet appearing in the sky, no destruction raining down. Just silence. The world is left trembling, unsure whether it has been spared or simply marked for something far worse. The unanswered question is heavier than any battle. What happens next? Episode 8 closes on a chilling cliffhanger. The camera lingers on the world's cities, some burning, some praying, some celebrating, while above, the night sky shifts. For the first time in recorded history, a new star glows where there was none before, pulsing faintly, as if watching. Whether it is a sign of hope or doom remains unclear. The episode ends not with resolution, but with dread and anticipation, forcing us to sit in the same uncertainty as the characters themselves. The aftermath is more terrifying than the event itself. Humanity has learned the truth, but it may never recover from it. Trust is shattered, identity is questioned, and the thin line between human and alien has been erased forever. Episode 8 leaves us with a promise. The real battle is not against creatures from the stars, but against the fear of who we are and who we might become.